I made it to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. In this video, I'm going to take you deep into the national park and take you hiking and communicating with the wildlife on the air. Yes, Smoky Mountain elk on the air. This is the one you've waited for, so keep watching. I left base camp and started driving south along the parkway, entering the park at Gatlinburg. There are plenty of large and small trails to hike along, and every trail will lead you on a new adventure to discover amazing views, historic structures, unique wildlife, rivers, streams, and waterfalls. There are literally hundreds of waterfalls throughout the 816 square miles of the national parkland. This map only shows some of the biggest and most popular falls you can hike to. I drove along the parkway that essentially cuts through the middle of the national park, running from Gatlinburg, Tennessee to Cherokee, North Carolina, through tunnels and around sharp curves. There are campgrounds within the national park, but be aware that they generally do not have any water or electric hookups and are very basic. Camping inside the national park is not intended to be a resort experience, but instead a union with the natural wonders that are preserved inside the park. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is everything I hoped it would be. These have to be the most breathtaking views this side of the Rocky Mountains. There are dozens of scenic parking spots along the drive, many of which are near or adjacent to trailheads that can give you a quick taste of the backwoods without wandering too far from the main road. Of course, for the more serious hiker, there are trails that span great distances of the park, including many that lead to the peaks and traverse the famous Appalachian Trail.
So right now I'm standing right on the line dividing North Carolina on the left and Tennessee on the right. Right at the peaks of the Smoky Mountains.
And of course, there's a ham radio connection. I carry my radio gear with me so I can activate Parks on the Air whenever I can find a great area in a state or national park that I want to spend some time in. I find a picnic table or use a folding table that I carry with me to set up my radio with a long wire antenna and portable 12-volt battery. There are plenty of tall trees around for launching a wire antenna into, but when there isn't, I use a single garden fence post pushed into the ground and slip a telescoping flagpole over the post for an instant 31-foot high tower to give my wire some height. A couple of nylon guy wires pushed into the ground will keep my tower in place while I operate. Then I sit down, enjoy the view, and play radio. But something unusual captured my attention and my curiosity as I spun the dial through various frequencies. I spent a little time on VHF and UHF just to see how busy the local frequencies would be. Not a whole lot could be heard until I stumbled upon a strange beeping signal that definitely was not Morse code. It sounded like a telemetry signal from outer space. Then the signal faded away quickly, and I didn't think much more of it until a little bit later in the day. More importantly, I was busy looking and listening for bears and making sure I had a quick escape route. Onward to the next point of interest, I came across a sign for Mingus Mill. Another short trail from the parking lot brought me to an historic turbine mill built in 1886, and another stream and another beautiful waterfall.
just driving around telling her, okay, I'm going to we have
Finally getting close to the Cherokee Indian Reservation, flanking the south central side of the national park, I arrived at the Oconaluftee Visitor Center and Pioneer Farm Museum. It's staffed with park rangers that teach visitors about the area's history and wildlife. I asked one of the rangers how often elk could be seen in the area. He explained that we were in prime elk area. There was a herd of elk that frequented this very field every day. He told me they spend the hottest part of the day in the woods, and after dinner they walk to the river for a cool drink and cross the river to relax out in the field in the evening. Sure enough, the elk would soon start walking out of the woods, one or two at a time. At one time, elk were abundant in the area until early settlers started hunting them. Then, their numbers fell to near extinction by the 1900s. They are amazing and giant creatures that look kind of like a cross between a moose and a horse. A small population was reintroduced into the area just recently, and park rangers have been following their herds to make sure they are growing to a healthy population once again. To do this, they attach radio tracking collars to the elk and follow them through the seasons to track their locations and habits. This was actually the sound I heard briefly on my radio a little while ago. The elk were out of sight, but if you have the right equipment, a portable VHF radio, and a Yagi directional antenna, you can locate them and hear where they are moving. Volunteers called elk spotters will track the herd and direct traffic to give the elk a safe area to cross the road. They will also observe any health problems or injuries and intervene as necessary.
Yeah, I think so.
Suddenly there was another commotion on the road ahead. Cars were stopped, but I didn't see any elk. Everyone was looking up into the trees. It was a bear climbing on a branch, snacking on leaves. It wasn't just one bear, it was a whole family of bears. There was a mama and 3 hungry cubs. Maybe they don't always eat ham radio operators in the woods after all.
woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go down in the woods today, you'd better go in disguise. For every bear that ever there was will gather there for certain, because today's the day the teddy bears have their picnic. Every teddy bear who's been good is sure of a treat today. There's lots of marvelous things to eat and wonderful games to play. Beneath the trees where nobody sees, they'll hide and seek as long as they please, 'cause that's the way the teddy bears have their picnic.
Tried to get him up. So, Mama was right here from my window. And she was
Horrible. We've seen when pigs go up in the trees like this and eating acorns. My phone's full.
I need to get a photo.
that was the baby.
Is this today?
Just coming out.
They love to play and shout, they never have any care.
At 6 o'clock their mommies and daddies will take them home to bed,
Because they're tired little teddy bears.
It was getting to be very late in the day, and I needed to get back to base camp. Tomorrow will be another amazing adventure. I hope you'll come along and watch.
If you go down to the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise today.
I can't believe you made it all the way to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment to let me know what you enjoyed most. If you enjoyed the video, all I ask is that you subscribe. It's the only way to let YouTube know there's an audience out there for these types of videos. It really helps. Until next time, I'm KD2REU, and I'll see you on the air and on the road.
Thank you.